Well, hello, everyone. I'm Paula, and welcome to Off the Clock. This is the show where job titles take a break and real conversations steal the spotlight. No LinkedIn perfect answers, no labels, just honest conversations. Quick thing before we get started, if you enjoy real conversation like this one, please make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me on LinkedIn, like this video, share the live with someone you think you should be watching. I know it's a little bit annoying, but it will really help me to reach to more people. So I really appreciate your support. And if you're joining us live, say hi in the comments, in the chat. We love interactions. We will do our best to answer your questions if you have any, or if you just want to say hi and tell us where you're watching the show. Feel free, don't be shy, and use the chat to talk to us. And my guest is already on the backstage, waiting. So let me introduce him. Today's guest has spent decades helping people become better leaders. He's worked in hospitality, coach executives, deliver keynotes, written leadership books, and somehow still finds time to hit the salsa floor, the dance floor. So please welcome to the stage. Let me put him here. Uh, please welcome to the Off the Clock, Victor Simmons. Hello,
Hello,
Victor.
hello, Paula. How are you?
I'm very good, and how are you today?
I'm doing great now that I see you, as my grandfather would say.
Oh, and today we're gonna talk about your family, as I very curious about it. And sorry, and just reading your bio, it's already like I was already interviewing you in backstage. I have
Yeah,
to control
that was
myself,
fun. That was
yeah, to say for this show. But Victor, so this show it's a little bit short, so I'm gonna get started right away.
all right.
Uh,
Good.
you mentioned your grandfather now, but your father was the first black steward on Air Force One,
Yes.
and served four, not only one but four U.S. presidents. That's impressive. So I wonder, Victor, growing up, when did you realize that this was special? That your father, has this kind of different job, and you start feeling proud, I can guess. When did you think it was
You know
it
what?
hit you?
Growing up, it really didn't hit us that way because it was really part of the normal everyday life. We were stationed on an Air Force base at Andrews. We would go down to the hangar often when family would come into town. That would be the thing you would do is they would go down to the we'd go down to the base. They would follow in our car, follow us, go onto the hangar, go into the hangar, go onto the plane, and then at the end of the tour, they would sit in the president's chair on the plane. And then afterwards, we'd give them matches and cigarettes that have the presidential logo. And I met Nixon as a little boy,
Wow.
and then years later, as the story goes, my dad ended up working for President Ford, and it really wasn't until then when my dad was semi-retiring, we did a retirement party, and at the retirement party, Mr. and Mrs. Ford came to that and spoke. And when President Ford got up and was talking about me and my sisters and mom and dad, and the way the people sort of clamored over to get autographs, that's the first time I've seen that. I usually saw Mr. and Mrs. Ford in regular everyday moments
Yeah.
at the house where they would ask me about football, they would ask me about school. And it wasn't until I saw the people clamoring around and then hearing what they had to say at the podium like a president,
Yeah.
that's when it hit me. And I was in my 30s, I think, at that point where I was like, oh, that was pretty cool.
That's such an awesome story. And you mentioned already your family. You said you have sisters. Do you, do you have a big family? It's everybody. Like how was your house growing up? It's a lot of people, or
It was, well, in our house, it was mom and dad, and then I have two sisters, two younger
okay.
sisters. So I was the oldest. My dad had two boys about 11 years prior to him meeting my mom. So I have two other brothers, one who has passed away. So I have two other brothers. And then from that, now, my sisters, went on and had kids, and I have kids, and now my kids, a couple of my kids are having kids. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, we have a pretty good size uh, family. I wouldn't say it's large, but we got enough for us. And in our house, family would visit all the time. So we've always had people coming through the house or friends. Our houses, the way my mom and dad were always very social. And so
Hmm.
people came to visit all the time. And consequently, that's the way I am being in the hospitality business. And my kids growing up, we would be the house where everybody would come over for the barbecues, for the birthday parties, would usually be at our place.
It sounds like a very cozy and fun family. And it is, well, for me, I'm a Brazilian, this is like completely like a movie, to be honest, like a Hollywood movie, someone of the US president and stuff like that. It's like, wow, for me, it's a wow moment. But, family, even though I don't know you that well yet,
Yep.
it seems like it's a very important part of your life. It impacts you, influences you. You wrote a book about leadership. If I'm not mistaken, the presence driven leader.
Yes.
And how much of your family, your father or your grandfather figures, like how much of their influence uh, is there in you as a leader?
Yeah, it was paramount. My great grandfather was a sharecropper by day and a moonshiner by night, and his son, Willie Fate, my hero, worked 3 jobs for 30 years, all in hospitality. And then, on less than an eighth grade education, he went out and started a very successful catering business in Akron, Ohio. And then my father, who started on the same farm out in an unincorporated village in Alabama, worked that farm until he was 14, and then joined my grandfather in Akron, learning the catering business. And from there, he went on to get into the Air Force, and he was a steward on Air Force One. He started out in the mailroom, and then he wanted to fly and be all over go to different corners of the world. And so he got his flying status, being properly prepared, and then he was able to do that on Air Force One. He also moonlighted as a bartender. So these 3 men, while they didn't have a LinkedIn profile, they didn't have a corporate strategy, um, but they were very critical in the work that they did. They were very well known and well respected in the work that they did because they did their work well. And they were leaders in their community and in the family. And that's what I learned from them. You don't need to have a fancy title in order to be a leader. And in fact, anyone can do that. And so through their courage and conviction and influence, they were able to make an impact. And so I took that along with being on a high school championship football team in high school. I took those things and developed what is called the presence driven leader, where you with influence, courage, and conviction, you can accomplish anything.
I love the message, and I totally agree. And I think you're saying you don't need a title to be a leader. And sometimes people that have the title are not leaders,
Yeah,
like the other way
absolutely.
around too.
Yeah, that's where. Well, and I've seen it being in HR for as long as I have, since over 25 years now, quarter of a century in human resources. That's where leaders fall down. The moment that they draw a line in the sand with their title, saying I'm the VP of this, I'm the director of this, so go do this, you've already lost. You've already lost when you do that. And so, and to this day, I still see leaders making that mistake.
Yeah, yeah. And going back a little bit about the book, your first book. I think it's your first book, The Presence Driven Leader.
Yes.
Am I correct? Yeah. Okay.
Hmm.
If you could tell the audience now, what is the one chapter of your book, of this book, you hope teams everywhere read? at least twice. Like, is there a topic or a chapter specifically in that book that you think it's key? Um,
Gosh, yeah. Well, and I've been getting so thank you for the question, because I've been getting a lot of great feedback about every chapter. Like one
that's great.
GM I talked to told me that he suggested that I do a workbook to go with this book, because there's sort of step by step processes that you can do. And I would say it's chapter 7 and chapter 8. And the reasons are that in those between those two chapters, you learn the essence of being a presence driven leader. And the other thing that's so critical in chapter 8 is being under pressure, and how you handle things when you in hospitality. This, we're always at battle.
Yeah.
we're at battle.
Yeah.
And so I liken this to those war movies, when you see the captain, the general, the lieutenant, whoever it is, the person in charge, that's shouting out orders while bullets are just whizzing by and bombs are going off. And quite frankly, in the hospitality business, that's what's going on. Upset customers, unreasonable customers, we do have those, right?
Yeah.
But you need to be calm under pressure and be able to deliver those things, and help the team realize, okay, he knows what's going on. I'm in battle with this person. We're going to be okay, and we need that. And the other thing about being a presence-driven leader is leading with influence, and being able to get folks to do the things that we need to do so that we all win, not just me as the leader. It doesn't do me any good to win. The only time it pays off is when we all win. And so I would say, look at not just one. I'd say, if I had to
Yeah.
pick, if I had to read the whole book, is what I want you to do. But I would say chapter 7 and 8, start there. You'd be good. You would be good. You start there.
And you can find your book on Amazon. Just asking because we have like global,
Woo! I
maybe
love
out of
this. Is another
states.
great question, because I love saying this. You can get the book anywhere books are sold. You can get
Oh,
the
that's
book. So yes, on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, anywhere you can get it. You go to my website. You need to check out my website, and you can get it from my website. Anywhere books are
we,
sold.
we can put your website later on the description of this episode for sure. And you have a new book releasing
Dude,
now, if I'm not
yes.
mistaken, or if I'm not giving too much spoilers or anything.
No, no.
So I am so curious, Victor, what can you tell us about this book? And I think what I really want to know, what was the motivation? Because writing one book, we were talking about this in backstage. It is a hard work, although today we have technology that make it easier, but
Yeah.
still, it's still work. So what is the motivation behind the second book? Why you decided to write this book?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, it's Bruce Jordan. I'm gonna call his put his name out there. Hope he's listening or sees the recording later. Bruce Jordan is a good friend of mine, and another mutual friend that Russell Edmond, good friend of
But
mine.
Bruce Jordan, I also know if it's the same Bruce Jordan. I think it is from Hotel Management.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah,
the
he was on the
MJ.
show too.
Oh,
Yeah, he was.
okay. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
So, well, yeah. So this guy Bruce, the MJ of hotels,
yeah.
came. I had invited him over to my house. I was thinking about doing a LinkedIn learning style training session that would videotape me at my house in my office. And he came over, and he saw these pictures in my office of my father with Nixon and my father with Bush. And he was, what's going on here? What's that all about? So I told him about my father, first Black steward on Air Force One. And he said, oh, he should write a book. And I said, well, we talked about that, but late in life, he passed away and never finished the book. And the idea sort of died with him. And then that was the end of that conversation. And then 3-4 years later, I'm having lunch. Bruce and Russell were together at an event in Florida, and I drove over to visit Russell. I didn't know Bruce was there, and we ended up doing a quick little podcast there. Russell interviewed me for his show, and we went to lunch together. And Bruce was just on me about, how come you haven't written the book? You need to write the book, and I'm gonna videotape you. We're doing 7 videos when I get back. And I said, look, if I'm gonna write a book, I want to get my dad's story out there. So that's what the second book is the Lee F. Simmons story, which is about character. It's about perseverance. It's about treating people with dignity. It's about work ethic. And I, when I was writing my first book, I just realized that this is a great learning tool for leadership for anyone, regardless of whether you're already in a leadership position or not. And then I thought, when I was thinking about what I'm going to do next, I thought, well, why don't I do something for the children? I have now 3 grandkids, and I thought, why don't we tell a story? There's no way I can tell my dad's story. That was for him to tell. But I could talk about my dad and share his story in a way that helps kids realize through having character, having, persevering, overcoming obstacles, having a strong work ethic, that you can accomplish anything, and you can go from a rural town in Alabama to flying all over the world. And that's what, in the book, you'll see that he traveled to China on the first presidential flight to China, first presidential flight to
Wow.
Russia. He was on the Kennedy flight that for that great Berlin street speech that Kennedy did, and he was there. These moments that shaped our country and the world, and so
Wow.
anybody can do that.
Wow. Oh, I'm already want to to read it. And is it already on all stores like the first one, or is still releasing? How it is
Yes,
this
it,
one? Which
it
one?
is released today. In fact,
Wow.
it goes live today, so you can get it today if you go to Amazon, and then it'll be on my site now that it is live. We haven't had a chance to update my site yet, but it'll be
Mhm.
on my site as well. And then I'm here at the Avalon Hotel and Bungalows in Palm Springs. So if you happen to be in Southern California, we are doing a launch party tomorrow here at this hotel, and so I have, while supplies last, I got about 85 books that I brought with me. So you
And
can
you
pick up a
need
book.
more,
Yeah, you
Victor. You're
can get
gonna
my
need more.
signature. You'll be able to get a signature from me if you
Mhm.
come out here to the hotel tomorrow evening.
That's awesome. And before I forget, shout out to Russell. He did introduce us. Thank you,
Yes,
Russell. Has a great podcast, Russell of Hotels. And Bruce, as we already mentioned, to have his own podcast too. You should do a book with the stories of you three, because it's the three leaders, hospitality leaders together. The three of you, very fun people,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So I'm pretty sure you have great stories, between you three there. So
Oh, we do, we do.
you should consider doing one. But Victor, this goes very fast, this book, and I still have a few things that I just want to cover
Yeah,
before we end it. You have a very fascinating life, and you've held leadership roles across some major hospitality organizations, as I was reading your bio. But looking back, Victor, was there one job, can be the HR or whatever it was there one job that taught you more than the others combined? Like, what was there a job experience that really, really um, impact
yeah.
you?
Great question. There were two that I credit. One was, the first one for me was at the front desk, being a front desk agent. And this is in the book. When you're at the desk, you get your face ripped off on a pretty regular basis.
Yeah.
And you have to think on your feet. You have to break down, come up with solutions, problem solve, and come up with solutions on your feet, on the fly. And you're the spoke for the rest of the hotel. So if something goes wrong at the restaurant, typically later they're calling the desk to complain about it. Or something goes wrong with engineering, something's wrong in your room. They don't call engineering, they call you. And so I learned, as I said, how to problem solve, think on your feet. And what I learned was, you got to build relationships with those departments, because if you're calling engineering because the guest is in your ear about something, they're busy doing the next thing, and they don't want to hear about what you're doing. That's not, you don't have authority over that person, and you have to learn how to build relationships and have influence so that the person on the other end goes, oh, let me go help Vic out and take care of this thing that he's asking to have done. And I learned that at the desk and got good at that. And then I would say the second one, if I may, I'm going to give you
Yeah,
two. I
of
know you
course,
asked for
of
one.
course.
Is then when I graduated, not long after being at the desk, my first role in management was in event services. I was the event manager where you booked them and cooked them. So you would take the incoming call, client would do a board meeting, you would do the sales contract, and then weeks later they'd come in and you would service that group that was here for the board meeting. And in convention services, when you're the event manager for this group, and the hotel I was at here in Palm Springs at La Quinta Resort and Club, when I did that, we would have these large groups that you'd have to get from the airport to the hotel, do all of the meetings and the meals, do all of the BEOs for that, and then activities off site, and then get them back to the airport. So you'd build what's called a resume, right? And then and all of the BEOs. Same thing. You got to problem solve. You got to think on your feet. You have to be able to build relationships because you're essentially in this point, you're the GM for this group that's coming in, and you have to be able to get folks. Where we got a large check-in with this arrival, or we got a turn that we're doing, and you're the captain of the ship. You're the general manager, and you want folks to be able to say, yeah, let's go help Vic out with this group, as opposed to other things that are going on that are part of their job that they have to do. And I was good at that. I was able to get folks to go, yep, let's take care of this group. It's very important to Vic. We're going to make sure that we pull it off and have a great event. And so those two things led me to be really good in human resources, because of those same skills that I just previously mentioned. Helped me be, I think, a better, and operations, having operations experience helped me be, I think, a better HR leader than some that don't have that experience.
Yeah, I used to work at hotels many years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and I also work in front desk. And I have to agree,
Mm,
it is a
yeah,
job people do not accept if you worked in hotels. But if you don't work in hotels, you don't think that you don't think that it's that hard. But it is. I mean, customer service in general. I think you need a level of emotional intelligence
absolutely.
that people do take it for granted, that it's really really hard, like really really hard to keep keep it calm when it's chaos, or to even smile when you have a bad day.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
because you're
Right on
there.
the yeah, right on the money. They hire, the mistake that I see in hospitality is someone comes in off the street, they interview for front desk, and they say, "Oh, I love working with people," and we hire them because they love working with people. But that is
Yeah,
not the reason you should hire someone for that. You need to hire someone that says, I love working with people, getting my face ripped off, and still be able to deliver great customer service. That's the person I want, because you get the person that's a happy-go-lucky person, but then gets their face ripped off and they run in the back because they don't
yeah,
like being screamed at, and it hurts their feelings, and it's not
yeah,
easy to do. So you need to get people that are able to persevere and overcome adversity, and still deliver great customer service. That's what you want.
yeah, yeah, agree 100%. And Victor, also a curiosity of mine. So you coach executives today, gives all these workshops and stuff, but who coaches Victor when Victor needs coaching? Like, do you have someone or some reference that you go to when you in
Yeah,
doubt, or
all throughout my life, all throughout my life, I feedback is a gift, and you get better. And in my leadership training sessions that I do, I talk about this real quickly. Is that I talk about the great players, whether you like them or not, Kobe Bryant, or what's the guy that had that big roast? I don't like that quarterback.
oh,
Uh,
I'm from Brazil. My thing is
oh, that's
soccer,
right.
so I'm so sorry.
Um,
I'm so sorry.
Well, we'll just use Kobe because I know Kobe.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about this guy that I don't like, who's a great. He is a great quarterback, and he's won like 7 Super Bowls. But he has a coach. He has multiple coaches. He's got the main coach for the team. Then he has a quarterback coach, and he probably has other fitness coaches, and they're at the top of their game. And the reason that is because they have people that coach them. So all throughout my career, and I'll give you one example of one recent that I use. But yeah, I think that it's important for someone, as much as I know what I need to do, there are things that I have my own blind spots, and I need someone from the outside to see that and point that out to me. And so, one example, most recently, I love to call him out, which is Cesar Cervantes, which was my coach. I just recently did a TED Talk in May on the 23rd in San Diego at UCSD. And I've spoken. I've done a lot of speaking. I've done a number of podcasts. I've done a lot of training sessions. And I know my father's story. The whole idea was to get my story out there, my father's story out there. And I know that very well. But I wanted to make sure that I delivered a message that resonates with everybody across the world. And I've never memorized a 14-minute talk. I'd never done that before. So I reached out to a coach, and Caesar was my coach, and he coached me. He coached me through that. So I've used them for. One time I was out of work and I was looking for a career opportunity. I put her out there too, JT O'Donnell, and she is someone that I have gone to over the years when I was out of work. And I'm an HR guy. I know how to apply. I know how to interview, but I wanted someone to bounce things off of on various aspects of that endeavor. And so I used JT O'Donnell as someone to help me for that, just as recently as October of 24, when I left corporate world but was looking for the next opportunity. I went to JT for that.
Nice. That's very humble attitude, and I love that, really. And just one more question here, also a little bit fun, but we'll say, what's harder, Victor? Writing a book, leading a team through a crisis, or learning how to dance salsa? We have to talk about salsa.
Learning how to dance salsa.
How long have you been dancing, by the way?
I have been dancing for like about 13 years now. But I found out that there's a class today at 7:30 this evening. I'm gonna take another class.
Cool.
I like to learn. And I want the perfect dance. I love to have a nice little pattern. So yes.
Nice. You should include samba dance too. In honor of Brazil, samba. Yeah.
Well, let me tell you about samba. I did I got remarried in 2015 or 2016. In 2016, and our first dance was a samba.
Oh, really?
No, it was a rumba. It was a rumba.
Oh.
It was a rumba. That's right. It wasn't a samba.
But it's also cool. It's not a valse. I don't know, traditional. So I like that. I like rumba too. So that was a good choice.
Yeah, so we did two dances. We did a rumba to start. So, sort of traditional, And then Mi Vida, Kenya. She comes, we did a wedding. Russell was at that, as a matter of fact. And we had a little brunch for about 40 something people. And then after that, we opened it up. We had about 150 people come to the party. And then my wife went and changed into another outfit. And we did a salsa number. So.
Wow, that sounds like a really fun wedding that I think matches your personality from what I'm seeing in this show.
Absolutely. So... Matter of fact, I planned it. I did the whole wedding. I did the whole planning from start to finish, and the decor. That was all me. She did the bouquet, and she picked out the cake. But everything else
was on you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so awesome. And Victor, before we finish here, I do have a very short segment in this show that it's called, let me put it here. Would you rather? So let's do it.
Oh my goodness. I saw a few of these. I don't know if I'm ready, but we'll go for it.
You will. Just a second.
That's exactly how I feel. Oh no.
No, well, it's a moment no leader that comes to my show can escape. So it's simple. I'm gonna give you two situations or two things, and you're gonna just have to pick one.
Yep.
The only rule is do not overthink. Like, no, what comes to your mind first, you answer. You can justify if you want your option or not. It's up to you. Whatever you think it's best. So let's do this. And are you ready? Let's put the first one.
No, I'm not ready, but let's do it anyway. I like to collaborate and talk to people, have a coach.
Yeah. No
We're gonna see
coaching.
how
Yeah.
I
Here,
do.
here you are on how I say that, all by yourself. Yeah.
Yes,
So let's do this. Victor, would you rather write a new book or give another keynote? That's not bad.
I'd rather do both. I'm gonna do both. As a matter of fact, I can't I can't
You
pick
can
one
pick
or the
one.
other. I'm gonna do both. I have another book coming out in July.
Oh, ready. By the way, I didn't we're gonna repeat at the end of the show, but what is the name of the new book? I didn't ask.
The Lee F. Simmons story, the first American African American steward.
Nice. Okay. Next question. Would you rather be known as the best leadership coach in hospitality or secretly be known as the best salsa dancer in hospitality?
Easy, best salsa dancer in hospitality.
This
Absolutely,
is your main goal.
I love it. I can't get enough of salsa dancing.
Would you rather hire 100 people for a new hotel opening or train 100 new managers?
I love training. I love getting new managers, get my arms around them and pour into them. I love doing that. I can do that all day, every day.
Nice. Would you rather, Victor, forget your opening line on stage or give a keynote where someone accidentally uploaded the wrong slides?
I'd rather forget the opening line on stage. I'd rather forget that than I don't know what I would do. I guess I figured out, but whew.
Last one. So you're doing fine. Would you rather be stuck on a long flight sitting next to someone who wants leadership advice, like all the time, or be stuck next to someone who wants career advice in hospitality?
Wow. I take either or. I do either one. None of the, I do both of them. I do both of those.
Even in a long flight.
I love talking about leadership. I love talking about that. I love pouring into people. I do that. Or I love helping people get I love seeing a housekeeper become the supervisor, become the director of housekeeping. I love a housekeeper go into the kitchen and become a sous chef, an exec chef. I do that. I do both of those on a long flight.
So you're not the kind of passenger that wants to sleep. You not get annoyed that easily. If people start talking to you, you're
No,
fine.
I like to talk. It rarely happens because it's usually the other person doesn't want to talk
Yeah,
anyway.
true.
But I like it when people want to have a conversation. And so, where are you from? Are you going for business or pleasure? I love doing that, but it rarely happens. Especially now, I want to talk. I want to talk about my book, but coming here from Orlando to here, um, they wanted to. Earphones went in, so I put mine
Yeah,
in, and away we went.
true. That's true. We're not that social anymore, even though we are social in nature. But
Yeah,
anyway,
I like doing
yeah.
that. I love doing it.
So you survived, Victor. Thank you for playing along.
I made it.
And
All right.
to wrap things up, I have to ask the question that gives the show its name, of course. So when you completely switch off from hospitality, from your work, what does Victor Simons actually like to do off the clock? What is your
Yeah, it is. Well, and when in Orlando, my wife and I, we went just before I came out here Friday. We went to see Masters of the Universe. That was her show growing up.
I want the movie, right?
Yeah, yeah. So we
I
went
want
and
to
saw
see.
that and had a great time in those four. Is it 4D now, where the chairs moving around, the
Oh,
water splashing in your face, smoke is coming out. It was quite the adventure. So yeah, usually we went to it's usually trying to find good Mexican food. My wife is from Mexico, And so
Okay.
in Orlando, it's still a little bit of a mission to try to find good Mexican food. So that's usually trying to find a good Mexican restaurant, maybe having a dinner, a movie, or going. She doesn't like the salsa dance actually, so it's usually me going by myself to do salsa dance.
Russell is here, so hello, Policy. He's the only person that calls me Policy. And
Oh,
Vic, hi,
what's going
Russell.
on, Russ?
I'm not sure if you could watch the beginning, but you can watch the replay because we did mention you in this episode. We are unfortunately, this is the end of the show, so that's a wrap on Off the Clock. Victor, thank you so much for taking the time for being here today. And I have to say, I'm
Pleasure.
gonna have to have you again later this year because you're a great guest. You have so many stories, fascinating, and yeah, I just want to learn more. So
Well,
thank you
Paula,
so
thank you
much for
so
being here.
much. Thank you. Yeah, and I'd love to be back on. Yeah, when my next book comes out, or thanks to Bruce, I got another 4 or 5 more books coming. Thanks to Bruce. So
Yeah. And just repeat to the audience too, maybe your website so people can find you and the name of your new book as well.
yeah, so the new book is the Lee F. Simmons story. You can find me on Instagram, LinkedIn. You can go to my site, which is Victorious Endeavors Consulting, or you can go to Victor C. Simmons, which is you'll see both of my books there currently, as well as any of the speaking that I do, and anything you need, you can find it at Victor C. Simmons or Victorious Endeavors Consulting.
Nice. Well, congratulations again on a new book. I know it's already a success. I'm sure of it. And I hope you have fun in the launching that you're having there in a hotel and lots of books to sign. And
Yeah,
yeah.
thank you. Looking forward to it. It's going to be fun.
Well, thanks everybody for watching the show, for supporting. If you can, please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, all this stuff that I know it's a little bit annoying, but helps me a lot. So I really appreciate. So thanks everybody, and I see you next time. Bye bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye. Take